ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
It is Wednesday, August 7th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for being a part of today's show. We're going to open up our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It is midweek. Getting closer to the weekend as we speak, getting closer to the start of football season as we speak. We're getting closer to the start of soccer season as we speak. You know, I'm kind of disappointed because I'm not going to be able to follow along with it tonight. But, you know, the women are in action tonight. It's an exhibition matchup, and they are taking on Delaware tonight. This is basically a glorified practice. Delaware tonight. It's 6 o'clock. I don't know how to follow along. There's not going to be live statting of this thing. It's not going to be broadcast on any streaming service. Again, this is just a glorified scrimmage, a practice tonight. But it's the start of something, hopefully. The women were picked today 13th in the league coaches poll, the preseason poll. There's 14 teams. 13th is where the Thundering Herd landed. Now, to be fair, this is a useless ranking because this is an all-new team. Nobody knows what this team's going to be about. I don't think anyone has any sense of what this Marshall women's soccer team is going to be capable of, how much better it's going to be. I mean, there have been wholesale changes with this program, and 13th is what the league came up with in the coaches poll. I don't know if I'd like the preseason coaches poll, to be fair, only because you don't know. You absolutely don't know what to expect year to year, especially more so in football than anything. With the transfer portal, you don't know what to expect. And, of course, Marshall rebuilding this program, it doesn't feel like it's from scratch, but close enough. And so I think 13th is really, you're just guessing at this point if this is going to be the 13th best team, 13th out of 14 in the league. So we'll find out hopefully here more in the next few weeks what this women's soccer team is all about. They're in exhibition mode tonight, taking on Delaware. Wish we could follow along with it. Yesterday, before we went off the air, the release came out, so we missed it. Men's soccer ranked 8th in the 2024 United Soccer Coaches pre-poll. So the preseason poll is out, and they were ranked 8th. Basically, this thing's mirroring the final standings just about. West Virginia is 3rd. JMU is 18th. UCF is 19th. You know, that tells me that the Sun Belt's going to be a good contest every game again. Almost every game is going to be a good contest. 8th. I kind of like Marshall being 8th. Expectations are there, but you're not that high. I'd rather this be a team in hunt mode instead of hunted mode. Does that make sense? It does for me, at least. I'd rather this team be a little hungry. You know, like, look, there are expectations here, but you're still picked 8th, and you're still picked below West Virginia, and there are some teams in the Sun Belt that are right behind you, so you can't get comfortable. You got work to do, but 8th is where the Thundering Herd was picked. Again, this is preseason. These things mean nothing. Absolutely. You look at some of the polls that come out, and they're fun. We'll talk about them, absolutely. But what do they mean? Marshall's 8th. Okay, do we know what Marshall looks like? We haven't seen the thing. The women, 13th. Really, is this team the 13th best team? Have you seen some of the talent that's coming out? And there weren't any representatives on the preseason teams as well for the women. And I'm not surprised by that, again, because coaches don't know, who are these players, what do you got? There's not really anyone you can point to coming back and say, hey, that was a standout player from last year, so definitely put them on the preseason team. Yeah, I don't know if you can even use this as motivation. If I was picked 13th out of 14, I personally would be motivated. That's just me. But this is a new team. They just got here. And you look at this thing and you go, okay, they don't know. They're going to know, but they don't know. I mean, that might be my motivation right there. They're going to know. And then we'll see where they think we belong. But if I was picked 13th, I wouldn't be mad about it. I would just use it as sort of a personal motivation. Get myself in a situation where, yeah, I'm better than 13th, and I'm going to show you that. I'm not going to be cocky. I'm not going to be arrogant about it. Just, okay, you think I'm 13th best, huh? You think I'm on a team that's the 13th best? Next to last. Okay. We got something for you. We'll get our text line open for you this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Text came in late yesterday. I like going back and getting these before we continue on with the new stuff that comes in today. Yesterday, we were talking about some of the changes that were going on with the Marshall football team, and they've got the decals, the new helmet stickers. Basically, the stripes, the M is going to be chrome now. I thought it looked cool. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm at that age. I'm not there yet with get off my lawn. At the same time, I'm kind of young enough. Maybe. I don't know. I turned 53 yesterday, so I don't know where I fall right now. I'm a Gen Xer, so I don't know where I fall in the spectrum. Yeah, I'm not one of those Gen Zs. I'm not one of those millennials. I'm definitely not a boomer, so I'm right there. I'm a Gen Xer. Texter wrote in, wish me happy birthday. Thank you for that. Also said, I agree with your comment about the green helmet, Paul, and I think that these changes will be good. It will just take time for some fans to get used to. Excited for the upcoming season and look forward to the uniform changes. I also enjoy the basketball halftime shows last season, so hopefully they can do the same with football. What would be a good halftime show for football? I appreciate the text. I mean, that's an interesting thought. What's going to be good for halftime? What would be interesting to you? Would it be the band performing something different, a new routine every week, maybe unveiling something? I hear that comment all the time. The band's not that entertaining. The band's not that good. They're all right. I just don't want to sit and watch the band, our band. And you compare the Marshall band to other bands. You sometimes maybe unfairly compare the Marshall band to other bands. There's a lot of money going on in some of these other programs. They can throw a lot more at band than Marshall can. But what would be interesting to you? What would be good halftime entertainment? How could Marshall do this? Entertain the crowd at halftime, at the same time afford it. That's probably going to be the big one for me. Like, what can Marshall do? Would that be sinking more resources into the marching band? Would that be something that you would like to see the university do? Put more resources in the band. Now, I've disagreed over the years how the band should be as far as the makeup of the band. I'm not big on that show band style when it comes to flags and twirlers. I'm not that fond of that. I share a different opinion than some, and I'm not saying your opinion's right and mine's wrong, or mine's wrong, mine's right. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is I like the more traditional band with instruments, large amounts of instruments. I don't like the show band, that kind of style. That's not interesting for me. But that's the style of band that Marshall has. You have the flags, you have twirlers, you have those elements. What would be interesting for you? How could Marshall jazz it up? How can Marshall snazz it up a little bit? Make halftime a little bit more interesting. I'm curious what you could do. What is something that's out there that would make halftime be more entertaining? 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Because I've heard that for years. Yeah, it's just not fun. Halftime's not fun. How do you make it fun again? What is fun? And, of course, there are some that disagree completely. Hey, look, no, we think it's fine. We think what Marshall does is fine. The band's fun. Could you have sort of a, I don't know how you'd pull it off. Could you have sort of like a mini concert at halftime? Could you snag like an up-and-comer? One of these smaller acts that are on the verge, maybe a 10, 15-minute performance. You could have a mini stage put up real quick. You'd have to move quickly. But have like a mini stage put up, or you could do something maybe once you get the end zone seating reconfigured. You could have a party deck there, as we've talked about, and you could have some sort of staging for a musical performance. I'd be interested to see what kind of plans have been talked about and if that's something that could maybe make halftime a little bit more fun. You absolutely have that gigantic scoreboard now. You can entertain the crowd. But again, these are things that are going to be so subjective. I want to hear from you. So the text line's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Open text lines throughout the show. I'm your host, Paul Swann. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Dude, was that you?
Yeah, it's what happens when I crave roosters at Pullman Square in Huntington. I can't help it. I just start thinking about more than 40 TVs, cold beer, hot wings. It just comes out.
That's weird.
Dude, was that you?
Yeah, I started thinking about Rooster's appetizers and salads and pizzas and burgers and how kids eat for 99 cents on Tuesdays.
Well, there's only one way to make it stop. Let's go to Roosters. Roosters at Pullman Square in Huntington. A fun, casual joint.
These days, you can use propane for so much more than grilling. Propane is reliable fuel for standby generators, furnaces, kitchen appliances, water heaters, and more. Always with cost-saving efficiency and cleaner performance than electricity. Clean energy around every corner. Propane can do that.
The Eric family has been delivering propane comfort across Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia since 1952. Go to ericspropane.com for more information.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Hey, it's Big John here. You looking for a smile transformation? 36 years of experience. Who has that? Thompson Orthodontics does, and they're going to offer personal orthodontic care, traditional braces. How about a flexible payment arrangement just for you? And they'll bill all insurance and West Virginia Medicaid. Experience the friendly, fun atmosphere and meet the amazing staff. My daughter Ruby had to have braces. That's where we went. She has a perfect smile, and I'm telling you, it's just a phone call away. Visit Thompson Orthodontics online at yoursmilingfaces.com today. Tell them Big John sent you. This summer, get tires built for the pursuit of happiness. At TikTok Tire, get up to $60 via reward card or virtual prepaid card after online submission on purchases of 4 or more of the new BF Goodrich passenger or light truck tires totaling $900 or more. At TikTok Tire, tire purchases totaling $899.99 or less get $40. Offer valid June 29th through July 15th. See bfgoodrichtires.com for full details. BF Goodrich, what are you building for? Stop in today. TikTok Tire, 3rd Avenue, Huntington.
Save big money at Menards. Dutch Boy DuraClean is an interior paint and primer in one that can be made into thousands of color options. And it's formulated with Stay Clean technology, so your home stays beautiful longer. It's washable, scrubbable, and stain resistant. Save big on Dutch Boy paints at Menards. America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction, according to J.D. Power. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Big money at Menards.
Rufus Redbird here, your feathered friend from Cardinal Roofing. Brad from Cardinal Roofing is a certainteed master craftsman, which means he can offer you that coveted Sure Start warranty, protecting your investment for 20 or even 50 years. And Cardinal Roofing now offers financing. Ask how you can pay as little as $90 a month. So call Cardinal Roofing. I'm Rufus Redbird, and I see things from above.
Hi, this is Brad from Cardinal Roofing. Call me today, 304-360-0171.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Bell, and I invited you here to my hotel room to talk about your cheeks. Your big, beautiful cheeks. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about swabbing them. Did you guys know that each year 20,000 Americans with blood cancer are searching for their life-saving marrow match? Can you even believe that? I mean, people need marrow, you guys, and we have it. So here's how we can help. It's really, really simple. All you have to do is swab your cheek, this cheek. Then go to Gift of Life Marrow Registry. It's so easy, anyone can do it. And in case you're wondering, if you're a match, donating, it's a lot easier than you think. So wherever you are, go ahead and swab that cheek. Go to giftoflife.org and get a free kit sent to your home, or find a donor drive in your area so that you can swab a cheek and save a life. It's only a minute of your time, but it can give someone else the rest of their life.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
We're opening up the text line this hour, 304-396-TALK. That's 304-396-8255. We got baseball action coming up for you tonight right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Yesterday, the Padres got the best of the Padres. Check that. The Padres got the best of the Pirates 6-0. 6:15 airtime tonight right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Reds beat the Marlins 8-2. We are definitely hoping that the Pirates can start getting some wins. There's a wild card race going on right now, and some Reds losses and some losses in the division would help, but Pirates have got a tough road ahead of them. Padres are good right now, so we've got that for you. Baseball action tonight right here. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. The men got the win earlier in Paris. Yesterday it was USA 122-87 beating Brazil. So LeBron James and company will be in the semifinals. They will take on Serbia. That's going to be a 3 o'clock game tomorrow. I didn't catch the final score just yet. I was watching a little bit of it before I came in. The women were in action earlier, and I'm all Team USA all the way, but just the difference between countries, especially with the women, it's not even watchable. That's how good they are. They just get the better of a team, and they continue on. So USA women were on a roll last I checked. We'll try to get you a final score on that one. You know, it's kind of cool down. Have you been watching much of the Olympics? I think since the swimming side is done, track and field, that's going to be more leaning towards American sports fans anyway. I like some of the offbeat stuff a little bit more, but this is where Team USA is going to just start rocking the golds. This will be the run. Because the medal count, USA is leading the medal count. And I've seen some of this chatter, and again, all of this is just chatter. Like, well, yeah, that's great. You're leading the medal count, but you're not leading the gold medal count. Well, okay. We'll see. We'll see what that looks like here in a few days with the gold medal count. But I think it's pretty amazing you lead the medal count, not just the gold medal count, the medal count by double digits. That's pretty good. And, of course, with the summer games coming back to the United States, it's going to be even, I think, crazier. China's coming along, though. As far as a sports Olympic power, China's coming along. But there are some sports that I don't see China being able to compete directly against the United States and vice versa. I mean, I don't think too many countries can compete directly with, say, the women's basketball team. Now, the men's side, it's gotten a little bit better. It's gotten more competitive. It's not just a foregone conclusion. I mean, it helps that you send Steph Curry, LeBron James. It helps. Those guys are good. And with the women's side, though, you have so many good players that people are complaining that you don't have Caitlin Clark on that team. And you look at it and you go, where are you going to put her? She's the new kid. Where are you going to put her? There are so many good players already on this thing. So that's been fun to watch a little bit of it. I'll give Peacock credit. That's how I've been watching. I don't watch the late night in Paris. I don't watch the actual over-the-air terrestrial stuff anymore. If I watch, I'm watching Gold Zone. And if you haven't checked that out yet, that's, I think, pardon the pun, that's the gold standard for how that should be done. Because the Gold Zone is like the NFL Red Zone channel. It's taking me to all the interesting stuff, all the action. If something interesting is going on, that's where they take me. I wish the Olympics were closer to our time zone. I would be watching that a lot more. And I can't keep an eye on it throughout the day, but I would watch that a lot more. And I would hope that we get back to a college sort of red zone channel. Wasn't there one once on DirecTV? I don't remember. Is there a red zone type channel to that level? And it'd be hard to do because, again, you have so many different college football broadcasts. A lot of them are going to be on ESPN. A lot of them are going to be on Fox and different providers. So, and some of them are going to be on different services. Like, for example, how could you make a red zone channel with college football when a game is streaming on, like, say, the CW or broadcasting on the CW? You know, who's going to be able to tie all those together? So I think that's something that college football definitely needs. A true gold zone, red zone type channel. I mean, if the Sun Belt could put something together like that, I'd be interested to watch that. But this is one of those interesting dynamics where, you know, unless you're just a college football fan, you don't go to college football games. You're a fan, but you're not going to the games. You're a different kind of fan. You're a fan just of college football. Yeah, this probably would work for you, but for a lot of us, we're going to the games. Hopefully, we're going to the games. We're going early. I mean, this would be good on the tailgate lot. I mean, you have some of that going right now where you're just going back and forth between channels. And, of course, if you're watching ESPN, they're going to update you. But I think a true channel like that would be the go-to. Just absolutely. That's the go-to for if you want to keep track of so much college football. Instead of doing like what Phil Steele does, you know, he posts these videos all the time or pictures. He's got like 15, 16 multi-screens. He's watching multiple games all over the place. For me, I would like to just have a red zone channel type deal where I can just watch every single thing. And it's interesting. Okay, let's go here. Appalachian State's about ready to go into the end zone over Old Dominion. Let's go over to that. Okay, cool. Watch that. Okay, let's flip over. Hey, Troy's about ready to score on Louisiana. Let's go to that game. Marshall's about ready to kick a field goal. It's in the red zone. It counts. Let's go. Something like that. That would be super cool. Just kind of keep track of everything. All right, let's get your text in. I don't want this to be about me today. I want it to be about you. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let's make it about you today. More coming up, including your text when we continue on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thoroughbred Express Car Wash. Today, and your first month of any membership plan is just $10. Any single wash or membership includes Howard vacuums, Rhino Mac cleaner, cleaner spray, microfiber towels, bay trash cans, and even air purge gun tools. Follow us online at thoroughbredexpress.com, Facebook, and Instagram for all updates, news, and promos. Thoroughbred Express Car Wash, where every wash is an adventure and every day is a shining opportunity. Check out our locations at Howard Boulevard, Route 60, Hurricane, Hayes Valley, Cross Lanes, Charleston, South Point, Ashland, and Maysville.
Invest in yourself and your future at KFB, the Better Bank. From our FDIC insured student savings account to our wealth management department, KFB has a service for every walk of life. At KFB, we are dedicated to giving you the best service in the tri-state. Visit us at www.kfb.bank to find out how we can help you invest in yourself and your future. KFB, the Better Bank, located in Ashland, Summit, Catlettsburg, Louisa, and Wheelersburg. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Let the good times roll. Downtown Huntington's premier weekly music event is back. It's Mount West Ninth Street Live, presented by New Trail, Garage Beer, Big Truck, The Beast, La Marca Prosecco, and Matua Sauvignon Blanc. This Friday, it's Wayne Graham with Blue Twisted Steel. Music starts at 7 on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Mark your calendar for Friday, August 16th 16th for the Thundering Herd Rally with the music of Madhouse. August 30th is Huntington Music and Arts Festival night featuring Brad Goodall with Massing. 9th Street Live is driven by Yes Chevy, Yes Ford every Friday night through Labor Day. 9th Street in Huntington between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Marshall OBGYN, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, City of Huntington, Marshall University, Impact Media, Xfinity High-Speed Internet, One Way Septic and Rent-A-Can, and Kindred Communications.
Buddy's All-American Barbecue is now in Milton. Enjoy all your favorite Buddy's classics like pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more on East Main Street in Milton. Buddy's All-American Barbecue, the home of great barbecue, ice-cold beer, and killer wings in Huntington and now in Milton.
Did you know September 11th is a National Day of Service? We invite you to be kind with Volunteer West Virginia, because every mountaineer has the power to make a difference. Join in our statewide Day of Service. Whether it's lending a hand or spreading kindness, in West Virginia, every mountaineer is a volunteer. Visit volunteer.wv.gov to find a volunteer opportunity near you. Brought to you by Volunteer West Virginia, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town, with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We carry on with today's Wednesday edition. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. From our text line, Paul, what are your thoughts on fan buses to away football games? Why do they not utilize fan buses like they used to do in the 80s and 90s? First of all, I'm all for any type of bus that you can take multiple fans to a game. I think part of the problem was with the Jump to Conference USA, there weren't that many trips that were feasible. When you're in the Mid-American Conference, you could take a bus. You could get a lot of people together, get a bus going, and you could maybe make a day of it. You could have a bus tour. And I think you should try to get back to that. I can remember going to a few bowl games because I was able to get on a charter, a fan bus. And it depends really who's putting it together. You know, is that something the university wants to take on, put together sort of a fan charter? Would individuals, travel agencies, people that see a need want to maybe jump on that, start getting into that business again? I remember as a student government put together a trip, and I got to go see Marshall take on EKU. I think this was 89 or 90. It was one of those two. It was the 89 season or 90 season. And Marshall got to go play at EKU. I'll have to look up the date. I got to go to that game because it was a student bus trip. And, that was an easy trip. But still, an expensive ticket. got to go on that trip, inexpensive. I think that would be a great way to maybe encourage some folks that would like to go to some games, but at the same time, maybe the burden of a trip be easier for them if they're like on a charter. Let's look at the schedule, though. What game could be an easy bus trip? And you could get creative with this. You can make it a weekend charter. Now, if you're going to do up and back, if you were going to do a game that was up and back, let's say you could do a bus trip to Ohio State. That's easy, up and back. Hey, we'll meet here. We'll head up to Columbus. We'll stop off, eat somewhere, get to the game. After the game's over, get back to the bus. We'll be on our way. We'll get you home certain time. That'd be a doable one. If you're looking at Virginia Tech, okay, that'd be a short hop as well. Could you imagine maybe a charter to, say, Georgia? You could look at Duke a weekend charter. I don't know what that would cost you. You go down, depending on when the game is. I think part of the problem also is with some of these games, you don't know the times. Like, is it going to be an early game? Is it going to be a late game? You don't know too many details right away because television has absolutely wrecked college football. I mean, how do you plan? Stony Brook's at 5 p.m. Virginia Tech is at 4:30 p.m. Georgia State's at 8 p.m. That's a Thursday night game on ESPN. That's the reason why we know that. And every other game is a to be determined. Why is that to be determined? Because television hasn't blessed Marshall or any other college athletic department with times just yet. It's because the television revenue is the valuable revenue, the television package. This is just how it works. So, how you plan a trip. If you wanted to take a trip to Statesboro, Georgia, that could be a feasible trip. I think if you were looking to take maybe a bus trip to Old Dominion, that'd probably be a little bit more a feasible trip. You want to take a end of the year bus trip to JMU, that could be feasible as well. I think it's something that should be looked into. I'd be all for it. Like, yeah, you know what? All I have to do is get my game ticket, hop on a bus, sit back, enjoy the bus trip, go to the game. After the game's over, hop back on the bus, head on the way home. I'm good. I'd be down for that. That was a good question. I hope we can see something like that. And why would that not be something you would want to do? I'd really like to see maybe student government do something like it once did. Like an easy road trip. Like, what's an easy road trip that student government could do? But let's get a whole bunch of Marshall students in a bus. Let's take them to the Virginia Tech game. Depending on what the ticket allotment is. And I think a lot of that has to do with ticket allotment as well. Like, are you going to be able to get tickets for Ohio State? Those are going to the allotment's going to the athletic department. And then that's going to go to, you're going to have your priority points and everything in order. There's a pecking order there. Now, could you organize a bus trip somewhere to maybe a game that isn't such a big deal? Like, would you take a bus trip to Middle Tennessee in 2025? Would you do that? Would you get on the bus and just go, okay, we're gonna do a herd bus trip. We're going down to Middle Tennessee. Would that be a feasible bus trip? Same thing with I'm just looking at the schedule here. Well, yeah, what's the best road trip? I mean, I'm looking at non-conference here. Conference, that's a whole different story. But 2026, I don't know if a bus trip to Missouri State's the feasible play here. 2027, would a bus trip to Ohio be a thing? 2028, would you take a bus to Eastern Michigan? If you're asking me, the answer is no. That's an interesting question, and it's going to depend, again, on the schedule year to year. And when's the conference schedule going to be released? And, you're going to have eventually road trips at JMU, Old Dominion, Coastal, Southern Miss. Got to be in that rotation again. The Georgias, Appalachian State. But I do miss that. Absolutely miss that. And I think for some of the bigger games, like a bowl game, for example, you should, if it's something you can bus to, if it's a busable game, I think absolutely you should have more opportunities to do that for some Herd fans. Because I'm sure there are a lot of Herd fans that if you had, and I'm thinking maybe older Herd fans, and I could be wrong on this, but if you had a bunch of Herd fans that were, not as mobile, but they could do a bus trip, get it all together in a collective group, and you could bus a whole bunch of Herd fans down. They could go do the game, see some sights, have fun, then come back, up and back maybe, or an overnight stay. I think that would be really cool for a lot of Herd fans. So I encourage that. Good question. We'll get more of those. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, have you heard any more schedule updates? The last one with Eastern Michigan was underwhelming. No, I haven't heard anything else that's in the pipeline right now. Because you've got 2025 with an opening. You have 2027 with an opening. Of course, 2029 is wide open right now. 2028 is all taken care of. So really, you're just looking for like a schedule announcement for 25 and 27. 26 is taken care of. 28 is taken care of. 29, we'll probably hear something down the line for that. We're a few years out there. I think with 2025, you're looking at probably, if you're looking at a series, maybe you would probably see something scheduled for 25. If it's a home and home, something that would be 25 and 27 maybe. And again, I'm not a big fan of the Eastern Michigan announcement. So I would look for something that's a little bit more exciting. And in 2025, you get Georgia. Middle's okay. I'm okay with Middle. Would rather it been Western Kentucky if we're going to schedule Conference USA schools. But Middle's good too. I can take Middle. As I've said before, Ohio's got to be on the schedule at all times. If you can make that happen, if you can work it out where Ohio would agree to it, you can just have Ohio on the schedule every year. I mean, you got a 3-game series with them coming up 27, 28, and 29. I'm good with that. I just don't know if a school like Eastern Michigan, Missouri State. I mean, Missouri State's only interesting to me because it's a schedule with an opponent that I'm not that familiar with. So there's a little intrigue there to me, just a little bit. You'll look at their 2025 schedule. At Arkansas, here at Huntington, SMU and UT Martin. 2026, they've got Kansas State on the road, play host to Marshall. They're at SMU. So they're trying to play some interesting games there. I don't know enough about them to not like that. So that's an interesting one to me there. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More of your thoughts coming up when we continue on today's edition of The Drive. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Get the last roof you'll ever need with steel roofing from Menards. Steel roofing protects your home and offers superior wind, hail, and fire resistance. Plus, you can save on cooling costs. Choose from 29 beautiful colors available in cut-to-your-length panels for fast installation. Save big on steel roofing at Menards, America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction according to J.D. Power. For J.D. Power 2024 for award information. Visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
Giovanni's Pizza. Fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Introducing In Your Business, a podcast highlighting thriving Huntington area businesses. Presented by Moses Auto Mall. Online at mosesmeansmore.com. In Your Business tells the story of Huntington's successes and where you can gain invaluable insights and advice from seasoned entrepreneurs. Produced by Kindred Communications and the Huntington Regional Chamber of Commerce. Find it on kindredcom.net, huntingtonchamber.org, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Get ready, craft beer lovers. It's the 11th annual Rails and Ales, Saturday, August 10th at 5. Harris Riverfront Park, downtown Huntington. Tickets are still available. Don't miss out. Explore more than 150 beers and ciders from over 60 breweries across West Virginia, the country, and around the globe. Enjoy live music, including a tribute to Tom Petty. Get your tickets now at railsandales.com. The 11th annual Rails and Ales, Saturday, August 10th, Harris Riverfront Park, Huntington. railsandales.com.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Final segment, today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. On X, formerly known as Twitter, you can find me at Paul Swann. While you're there, you can give me a follow as well. I would really appreciate it. Back to our social medias, and Patrick X's in. What are we calling these days? Tweets, posts, responds. Patrick says on X, listen to yesterday's show, and it got me thinking about why EMU. A.D. Spears worked there from 2014 to 2017. The matchup may have happened due to that pre-existing relationship in addition to date availability for both schools. And that's something we talked about. Thanks, Patrick, for that. I think that part of the reason for that was, again, the inside baseball stuff. What open dates do you have? Which schools are available during some of your open dates? What can you make work? And so the relationships are going to be, of course, part of the job. You would hope your athletic director would have relationships across the board. And so if there's a pre-existing relationship there, that's great. It makes the job easier if you're working with that institution. I just don't know outside of, okay, we need to fill some dates here. We need to fill some holes in the schedule. What's the value here? And if this is completely a transactional deal where we need to fill a date, we need a home matchup, you need a home matchup, we have dates that match, let's make this happen. We'll take care of some problems here. Hopefully the fans will show up, want to support the herd. Just from a travel point of view, what is it about this matchup that excites Herds fans? From this game is a home game, what is about this game that excites Herd fans? And to be fair, my answer always has been, as far as the home games are concerned, it's a home game. It's a Marshall game. So it doesn't matter the opponent. I'm coming to see Marshall. And that's the mentality that needs to hopefully be fostered a lot better. I'm excited to go see Marshall, not, hey, let's go see Marshall take on this team. And that does play a part of it. And I'm not going to ever pull out the I'm a better fan than you card. I hate that. I mean, if the matchup doesn't excite you, it doesn't excite you. But I would hope that you can get enough of the fan base to just be excited for the fact that, hey, Marshall's playing. Okay, this is the opponent. It's not that good, but still I get to go see the Herd play. I just don't like the game. Hopefully in a couple of years I'll watch the game and go, that was actually a pretty good game. That was an exciting matchup. I'm okay with it. It happened. But that's what some of these things are about. It's inside baseball. You need to fill a slot on your schedule. Who can you work with? Eastern Michigan can fill a slot for us. They need a game. We need a game. Here are their availabilities. Those availabilities match with what we have available. It's an easy to get to game compared to some of the others. Let's do it. They're going to be at home in 2026 by the time 2028 rolls around. I mean, you got a trip in 2028 at Wisconsin and at Eastern Michigan. Your home games are Ohio and Central Connecticut, and that's just your non-conference schedule. Wisconsin's always interesting for me. I mean, you're playing a Big Ten team. Ohio, again, I have no problem whatsoever having Ohio on the schedule. You have the Central Connecticut Blue Devils on the schedule. By the way, in 2028, they also play Holy Cross. Is that an exciting game? No, but you know the reason for that. You gotta fill the schedule a little bit. You already had a tough time with probably Wisconsin, so Ohio's never going to be an easy one. You put Central Connecticut on that, you get a home game. Eastern Michigan, that's a road game. There you go. You can reach me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Paul Swann. You can also text in 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, what about some AAC teams? I would love to play some AAC teams. Absolutely. I don't know how some of those AAC teams are going to respond to maybe traveling to a Sunbelt school. Because after all, remember, for a while we had that P6 thing going on. And will you see possibly schools like East Carolina maybe not be able to travel as much to schools like Marshall in the future? Sure, if Marshall wants to come up to East Carolina, that's fine. But as far as scheduling philosophies are concerned, that's going to play into a lot of this as well. But I would like to play some AAC teams. The teams I would like to play would be East Carolina. I'm okay with Charlotte. I'm good with that. Tulsa, why not? Like a one-off. UAB, I've always liked UAB. I'm good with UAB. Big fan of UAB. If you need a Florida game, there's Florida Atlantic. Sure, why not? I could do without North Texas. Nothing against North Texas. It's just I'm not going to North Texas. Navy, obviously, put that on the schedule. I'd like to see Marshall and Navy a lot. That would be good. Rice, again, I'm just going to avoid Texas when possible. So I'm avoiding Rice. South Florida, that'd be okay. It'd be a Florida game. Memphis would be okay. Again, yeah, you got some history here with some of these schools, but Memphis would be good. UTSA, nothing against the Roadrunners. I'm avoiding Texas schools. Tulane, definitely. SMU, I'm avoiding Texas schools. So I don't know which one's my top on this list other than East Carolina. That's probably the obvious one. Tulane, probably. I would do Tulane. East Carolina, Tulane probably 1 and 2. Navy's probably 3. And then everybody else is, if the opportunity came open, not Texas schools, by the way, but any of the other schools, an opportunity came open, I would absolutely like to see the Herd play some of those schools. You got to have a balance here. I get it. You want the schedule to be compelling, challenging, because after all, we've got this playoff thing you're trying to get into. Texter says, Paul, what about a money game going to UK and a 1 home, 1 away game with WKU? I'm here for it. I know there have been overtures in the past to try to get something going with UK. UK's not coming to Huntington. We know that. UK is not coming to Huntington. But I would love to see a one-off with UK now and then. UK might not feel the same because, again, if you lose to Marshall, you've lost. You don't want to lose. Yeah, if you beat Marshall, you're supposed to. If you lose to Marshall, the world's falling apart. But if you look at their schedule, I'm curious. Let me pull that up real quick just to see what they've got in the future that might be interesting for Marshall fans. Can't get that pulled up right now. I'm working on it. But yeah, I like that idea. I absolutely like that idea to have Kentucky maybe be a one-off, and then you could do a home and home with WKU. And that would be my preferred game over, say, Middle Tennessee. But they're jammed for right now. They got an opening in 2026. On their schedule, they have a home game in 2026 with Youngstown State, South Alabama, and Louisville. They're playing this year Southern Miss, Ohio, Murray State, and Louisville, non-conference. 2025, they're playing Toledo, Eastern Michigan. Wonder how they feel about that game. Tennessee Tech, and Louisville. 2027, they've got Toledo, Murray State, Ball State. They've got the Louisville game. 2029, Georgia Southern's on the schedule. And 2028, at Toledo, Kent State, Eastern Illinois. I think something could be worked out here. I'm looking at this thing. Something could be worked out. I mean, they're scheduling Eastern Michigan. Why am I talking about it? Why am I down on Eastern Michigan? If they're going to play in Kentucky. I mean, they got Murray State. Yeah, Murray State, I get that. I get Murray State. That makes sense. I understand that. That would make sense to me. Ball State, again, that kind of makes sense to me a little bit. Very little, but it does make sense. Toledo, Toledo's not a bad opponent. I would take Toledo. So 2029, 2026, there's an opening there. 2029, there's an opening there. 2030, they got 3 available slots there. Louisville's always going to be on the schedule. But Western Kentucky definitely needs to be on the schedule. But yes, there should probably be a money game every year somewhere on the schedule. A game that will enhance your schedule. Because again, you're trying to win. Here's how you have to do it. You have to win your conference and then be the highest ranked group of 5 school to get into this playoff. So Liberty could go undefeated with its cupcake schedule, be ranked the highest because it's undefeated, and get in every year. I don't know if I like that. But yeah, you gotta schedule some games that'll improve your schedule. I don't know how Eastern Michigan enhances your schedule non-conference wise, other than the fact that you needed a date filled. Here it is. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Retransmitting in Glorious FM on 94.1 W227BS Huntington. This is 930 WRVC Huntington, celebrating 100 years of broadcasting.